Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. This is episode 10 of Inside the Numbers. We haven't spoken since the NFL draft. The Knicks have played two big playoff games in Atlanta. They split them. We're going to talk about that a lot. It's Hunter Aschenbrenner and Jake Auerbach. Huge episode today, and just really excited for this one.
Yeah, so obviously a big week. Obviously, Knicks played two games. We'll get more into that, game 3 and 4. And then the NFL draft, which was one of the more anticipated drafts we've ever seen. And it certainly lived up to that. There was a ton of shocking picks in the first round. Jets and Giants, we'll get more into that. We'll go into each pick, but definitely a very fun and interesting draft.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about the Yankees and Mets latest week at the end for a bit. But you said how it was a crazy draft because the reason for it, you didn't really know what was going to happen starting at pick number 2. And we'll start there. I want to go into the Jets draft class before we do the Giants. Obviously, the big talk was David Bailey versus Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese, funny enough, ended up with the Giants. But David Bailey ended up being the Jets' pick with number 2. I've said my stance on it. I preferred Arvell Reese. I thought Arvell Reese would have been a better pick. But David Bailey, he's the best pass rusher in the draft. 14.5 sacks is 14.5 sacks. That's very hard to do. So at the bare minimum, the Jets are going to get a very good pass rusher.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's some room to work in the run game for David Bailey. Definitely, he's kind of a one-dimensional player right now. But that one dimension is he's elite. I mean, he has potential to be like first or second year in the league, and he can be top 5 in the league in sacks. That's just how good of a pure pass rusher he is. But I do think Arvell Reese was probably the right pick for the Jets at 2. I think he makes more sense for the Jets. I think he could really get to that potential with the Jets and really become like a Micah Parsons level player.
Yeah.
We'll get more into his fit with the Giants later, but David Bailey's not a bad player at all. I think he's going to be good with the Jets, but I think Reese was probably the pick that made more sense.
Yeah, just overall the more potential, I would have gone Reese, but look, David Bailey's going to be a very good player. On most consensus boards, you're looking like Reese is 3, Bailey's 4 or 5. There's not a big difference between them. I just thought Reese should have been the pick, but it's not. They got a good player either way. But then at 6,
my biggest thing. Hold on. My biggest thing is, if I was a reporter, I would ask Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn and whoever, why did they cancel the visit with David Bailey? Because people thought it was a smokescreen. People were like, "Oh, this is fake," whatever. Then the mock draft started coming in, where you see David Bailey going at 2, and some of these top reporters are saying Bailey's going to go 2 to the Jets, and I would be shocked if it's not. And people were like, "All right, hold on, it might be Bailey actually." And then all of a sudden, Jets cancel the visit, and they're like, "All right, it was a screen the whole time. It's Arvell Reese at 2." And then really the days coming up to the draft, people were like, "It's Bailey, it's David Bailey," but people weren't really falling for it because they canceled the visit. And then you hear David Bailey's name called, and people are sitting there stunned.
Yeah, Darren Muji said leading up to the draft to not look too much into that they had all the info they needed on him. Something I didn't know before, which it kind of shows in why they might have canceled the visit. Frank Reich, obviously the new Jets OC, was the head coach at Stanford.
Yeah.
And they also have 3 other coaches that came with Reich from Stanford to the Jets. Obviously, David Bailey was at Stanford before Texas Tech. Frank Reich was not there with him, but all the other coaches were, so I guess they knew that his character is top tier already. But look, it is strange. You don't see that often with that high of a pick, but they had a ton of other picks, so I guess, it's just if this pick fails, that's what they're going to look back on, that they didn't go fully into researching him.
Yeah, I don't really think it's worth. I think number 2 pick is the number 2 pick. You can't really miss on it. I think you want to know exactly 100% what you're getting in a guy instead of saving that visit to help you nail a 5th-round pick.
For sure. And then, obviously, they had 2, and they originally had 2 first-round picks with 16. Obviously, everyone leading up, it was Reese or Bailey at 2, and then everyone had them trading up for a receiver or maybe getting Lemon at 16. They didn't even go receiver at 16. They went overall pass catcher. They get the freak athlete from Oregon, tight end, Kenyon Sadiq. And look, when this pick happened, I was not fired up for this pick. But then because I thought Omar Cooper was going to be the pick at 16, and then they trade up from 30 and get Cooper and Sadiq. And I absolutely love that they do that with both pass catchers. Sadiq is so talented. There's so many ways he can be used. And Geno Smith's got a ton of weapons, and even more, the 2027 rookie quarterback has an awesome infrastructure around him.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. At the time of the pick, I didn't love the Sadiq pick, but since they traded up for Omar Cooper at 30, I think it makes more sense. But I still think at 16, it should have been Mekhi Lemon over Kenyon Sadiq. I think my personal opinion, it should have been Mekhi Lemon at 16, and then what's it called? They should not have moved out of 33, and they could have gotten potentially a D tackle there or someone else. But
yeah, I thought that. Obviously, at the time, I wanted Lemon. But when you look at it, I'm taking Sadiq and Cooper over Lemon 1,000%.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Omar Cooper is going to be a really good player. I just didn't want him at 16. And then they were able to get him at 30. Kenyon Sadiq, I mean, if they can use him right, he's had all the talent in the world. He's a freak athlete. His nickname is literally Sadiq the Freak.
Yeah, I know. He's
So
a fantastic athlete. He had one of the best combines ever for a tight end. So I like him as a player. I think he has a really high ceiling, really high potential. So I think he'll be a good player with the Jets in the future. And then Omar Cooper, I have not been high on him throughout the entire draft process. I think he's going to be a solid player, but I just don't really see the ceiling in him. I think his ceiling is like an average wide receiver too, honestly.
I don't know. I really
think
like
he was,
Cooper.
I think he was a product of Kurt Cignetti's offense. That's my personal
I don't
opinion.
know. I definitely disagree with that, but obviously I can't say your opinion's wrong. But Cooper, I mean, I really like him. And then overall now, when you look at the offensive infrastructure around the quarterback, which Geno, maybe he can be what he was in Seattle. If he's not, okay, you go and get from a stacked QB class next year. You have Breece Hall, who they're going to extend. They have Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis, two solid backup running backs, not the main story. Then at receiver, you've got Garrett Wilson, who's an established number one. Omar Cooper, I think he's going to be a really good two. Adonai Mitchell, who's got all the talent in the world, and he's been solid, and I like him a lot as your three. Kenyon Sadiq and Mason Taylor at tight end, both very good players. And then your offensive line, you've got two bookend tackles with Fashanu and Membu. Joe Tippmann's a very good guard, who's also young. And then Dylan Parham and Josh Myers, obviously not big guys, big talented guys on the offensive line, but they're solid starters. So they've got such a talented offense around Geno, and it's the first time in a while I can say that about a Jets offense.
Yeah, you're setting Geno up for success. I mean, you've seen him produce at a pretty high level. 2 or 3 years ago in Seattle, he was solid. Obviously a down year with the Raiders last year, but look around him. That was
exactly.
Bad.
When Geno was good, he had everything around him.
Yeah, but obviously the main story is setting up for that future quarterback.
Yeah, for sure.
Whoever you're going to draft most likely in 2027 in that loaded QB class.
Yeah.
But, I mean, whoever comes in is in a good offense, is in a good position.
And then in the second round, on day 2, the Jets only made one pick, and it was probably my favorite pick of the entire draft for the Jets. They traded back from 40. I think they wanted Jacob Rodriguez, but he went at 43.
Yeah.
And then they got D'Angelo Pons, the awesome corner from Indiana. I'm absolutely in love with this pick. He's going to be a fan favorite from the first day of training camp. The attitude he brings, the talent he brings, he would have been a top 15 pick if he was 5'11".
Yeah,
he's 5'8". That's exactly. And he's literally a carbon copy of what Aaron Glenn was as a player. He's going to bring a winning attitude. He's a baller. I absolutely love this pick all across the board.
Yeah, I thought at the time it wasn't as much of a reach, but I think there were better corners on the board.
I didn't like Cisse, and McCoy, obviously we saw he fell a ton. I didn't want to draft him with those knees, but I really didn't love Brandon Cisse over Pons, at least.
I think Cisse is probably the better player than Pons right now, and I think he's gonna be better in the NFL, honestly. And then I think a guy like Avion Terrell was sitting there
Yeah,
also. I think he's a
I'm
good
alright.
player. I think he's a good player. And then two guys that fell into day three, which I thought at the time they could have been reaches, but who knows what happened behind the scenes. Keontae Scott and Jerron McCoy. Obviously, McCoy with the knees. Not really sure what happened with Scott. Maybe just age, but he was a
Are you?
projected mid-second round pick.
Would you actually take Keontae Scott over Pons?
No, I don't think so. I'm just naming corners who are
Yeah,
options.
I would. I love that pick. I would have been pissed off with Cisse and Terrell. I wouldn't like either over Pons. Look, D'Angelo Pons, despite he's being 5'8", the only guy that got him in college was Jeremiah Smith, and Jeremiah Smith gets everybody. So, I mean, I love this pick across the board, and now there's so many guys in that secondary competing for jobs, and it's just going to be very fun to watch as training camp rolls around.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad pick at all. I mean, he's Aaron Glenn. So
Exactly. The first day Aaron Glenn and the first day Pons walks into that building, Glenn's just going to pull him into his office and teach him everything he knew as a corner, how he succeeded to be a multiple time All Pro.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the Jets on the third day of the draft, they got Darrell Jackson Jr., D tackle from Florida State. Solid pick. I don't really know much about him. Not gonna act like I do. I wanted a center or Kyle Lewis here at this pick, but he's a big D tackle who's great at defending the run. I'm never gonna get mad at beefing up the trenches, so a solid pick I'm fine with. The pick that's gonna get critiqued the most is they traded up from 110 to get Cade Klubnik, the quarterback from Clemson. Look, Klubnik coming into this year could have been a first-round pick. I don't know why they traded up from the fourth round for this.
I don't see like what the vision is there.
I don't know. I
Trading
mean,
up for him.
maybe the media had the board read wrong. I mean, Nussmeier fell to the 7th, and if
Something
the
happened with
Jets
Nussmeier.
took Nussmeier at 103, people would have been like, all right, that's where he was supposed to go.
Yeah.
Maybe Klubnik was gonna get picked that high. I don't know. Look, I think it was a Frank Reich pick, and they told him pick the guy you like the most and you think you can mold into a good quarterback. So maybe, but it's a fourth-round pick at the end of the day. I would have liked this going to like Connor Liu or Sam.
Yeah, it's not something to go crazy over.
Yeah.
But I just don't think he was probably. I just don't think he was the right pick. By the way, Diego Pavia.
Yeah.
Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Just saw that.
It's interesting.
But Cade Klubnik, he has the upside, I guess, because he was potentially the number one pick coming into the year.
Yeah, he's talented. He's a dual threat guy. I just don't really know if he's really good at football.
Yeah, I'm just not really sure. I mean, he's a good athlete.
Maybe he can be a long-term backup, and if he is, then that's all right. You spent a fourth-round pick on a guy that you're going to be spending $7 million on every year if you didn't spend that. So, all right.
Yeah.
I just don't know if that's what he's going to end up being, but at the end of the day, it's a fourth-round pick.
Yeah, it's not something to go crazy over.
And then they made 2 picks on day 3, and Inez Cooper, the guard from Miami, at 188. I like that pick a lot. He's a trash talker. He's huge. Not a great athlete, but obviously I'm not going to get mad at beefing up the trenches. And then one of my favorite picks they made was VJ Payne at 228, the safety from Kansas State. On every single consensus board, he's ranked in like the 150s, 140s, 150s. So if you want to think about it as a fan, as they took Payne at 110, and then they took Cade Klubnik in the 7th round, which they were both like basically swapped to go. Okay. But Payne I really like. He's a big size and speed safety.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna pretend like I know too much about VJ Payne, but I definitely did know that he was a projected early day 3 guy. Like a day 4 or sorry, round 4
Only
or
3.
round 5. Yeah, round 4 or round 5 pick. So I guess it's a steal in the 7th round. I'm not gonna act like I know too much about him, but I guess it's considered a steal. But Inez Cooper, from watching him at Miami for the last few years, he is just a dog. Like he is a leader.
He hasn't given up a pressure in like 2 years.
I know. He is a leader. He runs people over. He is just a monster. He is huge. And like he will lead the locker room even as a 6th-round pick coming in as a rookie. He is vocal. He gets in the other team's faces. He talks trash right in their face. I think that's a really good pick for the Jets, honestly. So I think that's a great 6th-round pick from them. And you're taking an O-lineman from Mario Cristobal's offense. That's what you want. They're not going to miss.
A big thing that we saw throughout this draft, and the second straight draft that this regime has made, they draft from winning programs. And, there's a clip from Hard Knocks in 2021 with the Lions where Aaron Glenn is talking to his defensive players, and they're like, you guys went 13-1 in college, and then we come here and we're losing. It's time to get that feeling back. That's like what they need, that they're trying to do. Like, when you look at Pons is another reason why he's my favorite pick. He transferred from JMU with Curt Cignetti to Indiana. He's probably Curt Cignetti's favorite player. Like, he comes in every day. He's a winner. He has that attitude. Omar Cooper the same way. Like, they come from winning programs. Texas Tech, playoff team. Oregon, playoff team. Obviously, Cooper and Pons. FSU, not a great team, but they're obviously
Jackson.
They're a big program. Like, it's not like you're taking Malachi Corley from Western Kentucky.
It's a Power 5 school. Power 4 these days.
Then Klubnik, obviously, he won a lot of games in college, not this year. And then obviously Miami, and then Kansas State's the one outlier there that's not the best squad. But they're trying to include guys from big programs that know how to win, and I like that strategy a ton.
I mean, Kansas State's a better team than FSU.
I'm just talking when you think of a big playoffs, a big football school, you're thinking of FSU over Kansas State.
Yeah, definitely.
So, look, this draft and next year's is going to define if this regime can turn the Jets around. Yeah. And I really like this start of the draft besides the Klubnik pick. So, look, we'll see how these guys play. I think you got 4 immediate starters, but I'm a real big fan of this class.
One thing before we transition to the Giants, give me a grade on the whole Jets draft as a whole.
I'm going to go a B+. I don't love Klubnik, the value they got him, but it's a 4th-round pick. And then I wanted Bailey. I wanted Reese over Bailey. But Cooper and Sadiq I love. Pons, obviously, I love. They got a ton of impact players, guys that fit the culture that they're trying to build.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a fan of it. If they drafted Reese, I think you're getting him to an A- or an A.
Yeah. I'm going to go similar to you. I'm going to go B. I think the biggest thing that the Jets did was add speed and athleticism.
Yeah, speed and size.
Yep.
Like, you don't really see that. I mean, Breece Hall and Omar Cooper now on the Jets offense are the slowest guys. And Breece Hall is a burner. Omar Cooper's not slow at all. Kenyon Sadiq's a 4.3 guy. Garrett Wilson's a 4.3 guy. Adonai Mitchell's a 4.3 guy. Like, there's a ton of guys with size and speed combo that I love.
Yeah, I like the draft as a whole. I don't think there was any big miss picks. But I don't think there was any really like home run, what a pick to really get me to like an A. But I think overall it was a very solid draft.
Mm-hmm. Then we transitioned to the Giants. Obviously, they had those 2 top 10 picks. They went Arvell Reese at 5, the edge rusher / linebacker from Ohio State, and then Francis Mauigoa from Miami, the tackle. Those were their 2 top 10. I know you weren't a fan of this on draft night. What are your thoughts as we sit here as we're recording this on Sunday afternoon?
It's growing on me a lot. We'll start with Arvell Reese at 5. No one expected him to be at 5, not even John Harbaugh, Joe Shane. Once the Jets took David Bailey, I thought he was an option at 3 to the Cardinals.
I thought someone would trade up.
Yeah, I thought it was a trade-up spot, and I think once Jeremiah Love went at 3, I thought the Titans were 100% taking Reese at 4.
Yeah, he fits
I was very surprised.
Wants.
I was very, very, very surprised that they didn't take Reese. And then even sitting there at 5, I thought the Chiefs were a potential trade-up team. I thought the Saints were a trade-up team. Even the Cowboys, potentially.
Yeah. I think the Chiefs traded up for him. They didn't think the Giants were taking him, so they went up to 6. And obviously the Giants took him, and they had to stay with Delane, who I think they wanted at 9.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think I would have rather the trade down. I would have, if I'm the Giants there, I'm not waiting for a team to call me. I'm calling the Chiefs. I'm calling the Saints. I'm trying to move down, gather picks, and still get 2 quality players at 8, 9, and then 10, which we had. But
Yeah,
I'm not mad at the Reese pick anymore. I think he was the best player available.
for sure.
Definitely.
Highest potential player available.
Yeah, 100%. I just don't know how he's going to fit in with the Giants defense. I don't think he's definitely not going to play edge with the Giants.
He's going to play linebacker.
They have Abdul Carter, obviously, Brian Burns, who was second in the league in sacks, and then they have Kayvon Thibodeau, who right now he's still on the Giants, and I don't think he'll get traded at the end of the day. I think he'll be with the Giants at the start of next year. So, I mean, he's not going to play edge rusher. They just don't have a spot for him. And if you're going to play him at linebacker, like, he can't play the pass. He's not a great pass defender at all. He's a good run stopper. He's a freak athlete. I think he's going to be a chess piece around the defense, and I think Harbaugh is going to get him right, and I kind of trust John Harbaugh. I definitely trust John Harbaugh, but it's grown on me, the potential of Reese being that chess piece around the defense, becoming that next Micah Parsons. I just don't see him becoming that next Micah Parsons with the Giants like he would with the Jets.
That's my big question. I don't know if he'll have the runway with the Giants to develop into that superstar. And then the question I have with the first round picks is they're taking Reese to play linebacker. Why wouldn't you take Styles, who's a natural superstar linebacker there?
Exactly.
Other than Reese, who's expected to transition to edge. And then at 10, you're taking Francis Mauigoa, who he's moving a guard. If you were taking a guard, why wouldn't you take Vega Ioane, who I think he's a superstar guard, and I wanted him at 16. I mean, Vega's a plug and play. I think he might be a Pro Bowl, all rookie type, all pro as a rookie.
Yeah, we'll get more into that pick at 10, but I think Mauigoa was the right pick at 10. I would have liked Caleb Downs, I think. Caleb Downs is the guy.
That's the big thing. You passed on a generational safety twice. And then he went to Dallas.
I've wanted Caleb Downs since he played his first 2 games at Alabama. I just was watching those games. He was a superstar. He was a freshman starting in the Nick Saban offense. That's a point you made a couple weeks ago. And it stuck with me. I mean, a freshman starting on Nick Saban's defense.
Yeah, and Saban called him last week one of his favorite players he's ever coached.
I mean, he is such a good football player, and I've wanted him for the last 2 years. I'm like, this guy needs to be a Giant. Like, I want this guy so bad. And they had him in their hands. They passed on him. They had him in their hands. They passed on him again.
Yeah, twice. I think the big thing.
And then he goes to our biggest rival.
Yeah, and then I'm talking with Sonny Styles, too. He goes to Washington. So you pass on both those guys, and then it's going to be in your face for the next decade.
And then they're going to be Mekhi Lemon.
Yeah, that was a crazy story, too. And then with the rest of the Giants draft,
I'll get more into Francis Mauigoa, actually.
All right, sure.
We didn't really get too much into him. I think it's the right pick at 10 if you're not going to take Downs.
He's a star.
I love Mauigoa. I think he was my overall number 1 offensive lineman, including Vega. The back could be an issue, but I'm not too concerned about it. He did an extra physical with all the teams, and they all passed him. No concerns there. But I think he will transition greatly to right guard. You see a guy on draft night, huge Samoan lineman walking down with the flowers over his neck. You see a gold jacket in his future.
Yeah,
you see
that's the guy you take.
So. And, I mean, I'm stoked about him. I mean, he said he's so excited to play with Jackson Dart. He's like, Jackson, I'll die for you. Sees Jackson Dart day after the draft. They hug each other in the facility. I am stoked about that pick. So I think Francis Mauigoa is the future of the Giants offense next to Andrew Thomas.
Yeah, and obviously when Illuminor's contract's up, he can shift over to tackle. But another storyline, both Mauigoa brothers are in New York now.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, the Jets got the superstar linebacker in Francisco.
He actually had a solid rookie year for a 6th round pick. What was he, a 5th or a 6th?
I think he was a 5th.
Right, he was okay.
Yeah, he's a special teamer. And then the rest of the Giants.
Player.
Yeah. And then the rest of the Giants draft, they took Colton Hood at 37. I love that pick. He's a stud. I was interested in him at 33 if the Jets didn't trade up, which they did.
There were mock drafts that had Colton Hood going inside the top 20.
Yeah.
And no one would have went crazy over it.
I think last week I had him going in the top 15. I'm pretty sure I mocked him.
I think you had him to the Bucks at 15, right?
Yes, I did. I had Colton Hood going 15 to the Bucks.
So if the Bucks took him at 15 on Thursday night, I mean, obviously Ruben Bain fell into their laps, which is a great pick for them. I mean, he slid down the board, and I mean, I think you saw him on draft night walk right past the mirror.
He was just pissed
angry.
off.
But whatever, that'll fuel the fire a little bit, even more for him. But no one would have been shocked if a team like that at the 15 to 20 range took Colton Hood. He is that good of a player. When Jermon McCoy went down with a knee injury, you're looking at Tennessee's defense. Who is going to step up? And Colton Hood was one of the best corners in the country last season. He didn't allow a touchdown all season.
For sure. So he's awesome.
I think that's a home run pick at 37. That was probably their best value pick of the draft, I would say. Either him or Auerbach Reese at 5, but that's a home run. That's a home run pick right there.
Yeah, and then they traded up from 72, 74 to get Malachi Fields. I'm not too sold on that pick. They gave up a pretty good amount to go and get him, so I don't really love it. But he's a solid receiver. I think I would have taken Bell or Branch over him, but that's all right. It's 70. It's a third-round pick, so no, it's not just like a dart throw.
Yeah, I mean, they gave up a lot, which is the only thing. They gave up next year. They dipped into next year's capital, which I don't love doing. I like having a big surplus of draft picks. But I think Fields is a good player. I like that big body receiver on the outside. I like having a guy who can really go up there and win a jump ball. But I do think there were a couple of receivers on the board better than him. I know Zachariah Branch. I had him circled. I love Branch as a prospect.
Wonder if the arrest affected that.
Yeah, definitely. I thought he could have been a guy that goes in the back end of the first round, early in the second round, but fell all the way to the Falcons in the mid-70s, I think. So
yeah,
that was a great pick for them. But I wanted Branch over Fields. And then was Jacoby Lane available?
I think so. He went to the Ravens later.
Yeah. So I think I would have rather Jacoby Lane over Malachi Fields and maybe even a guy like Chris Bell. But I'm not mad at the pick at all. I'm just kind of mad at the package. I think they gave up a little too much.
Yeah. Then they didn't have another pick into the 6th round. They got Bobby Jamison Travis, a D tackle from Auburn at 186. I've never heard of this guy. I'm not going to act like I have. Then at 192, they took J.C. Davis, an offensive tackle from Illinois, and they had back-to-back picks. They took Jack Kelly, a linebacker from BYU, at 193. Look, they're 6th-round picks. There's going to be a ton of critiques in these guys' games, but you're looking for upside, or it's basically just pick your poison at that point.
Yeah. Bobby Jamison Travis, I like that pick. He is massive. He is just a huge SEC body on the D-line, which I love taking. There's nothing wrong with taking a trench man from the SEC. He was pretty good, according to PFF grades, which I don't love going too deep into, but his grades were pretty good, and he is just huge. So I like that pick. And then J.C. Davis at 192. High potential, which is what I've been seeing. He's very raw, has high potential. The one thing about him, though, is apparently the effort isn't what you want. He doesn't finish plays.
You gotta. That's on John Harbaugh to get that out of him.
That is on John Harbaugh to get that out of him, and maybe he could become a rotational tackle. And then Jack Kelly is a super productive linebacker out of BYU.
He had 10 sacks last year.
He had 10
as
sacks
a blitzer.
last year. 10 sacks as a linebacker.
That's crazy.
So I think he's very athletic. I think he'll be special teamer this year and maybe like a Sam linebacker who can blitz a lot. I think that's probably where he fits in best with the Giants defense. But I don't mind the pick. Production that high in the 6th round, I think that's a good pick.
For sure. And then, so that's it for the Jets and Giants draft class. And then before we shift to recapping the Knicks and Atlanta, I want to talk about a couple of the biggest storylines from the draft.
Let's give grades.
Oh, yes. I'm going to give the Giants a B. Right. Maybe a B-. I don't love the fit of Reese and Manoah, but they're both great players, so you can't go much lower. But a B minus or a B.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go with B. I'm gonna give it the same grade as I gave the Jets. Reese, I think it was best player available, but I just don't love the fit with the Giants defense. At least not for this year. Maybe for the future. But I like the Francis Mariota pick at 10. Love the Colton Hood pick at 37. Fields pick, the pick itself was good. Just the package was we traded too much. And then the 3 6th-round picks all are pretty high upside picks. And then again, I love Kelly's production at BYU, so I think it's a solid draft overall. They covered pretty much every position of huge need. I guess really outside of safety, you could say. But and maybe you could have drafted a running back in the 6th round. But I think overall it's a good draft.
All right, so yeah, before we get out of the draft talk, I want to talk about a bit of the biggest storylines. Ty Simpson at 13th overall to the Rams. I was stunned. I think everybody was. Look, Ty's going to be great after learning from Stafford and McVay now, but it didn't seem like they were on the same page, McVay and Les Snead, the GM. I also didn't really. You're in a win now year with Stafford. I don't know why you're taking a quarterback. Look, they could have added Mekhi Lemon or Kenyon Sadiq. That would have been absurd. But look, Simpson's gonna be great learning under them.
Look, I like the pick, honestly.
Really?
I do. I think 13 might have been a little too high.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I think if you wanted him, you could have taken Lemon or Sadiq at 13, and then you could have traded potentially back into the first round towards 2025 with other picks and whatever, and trade up for Ty Simpson, and it wouldn't have been as critiqued. But I'm a huge Ty Simpson guy. I have been all year, really. And I think him developing under Matthew Stafford and with Sean McVay, you're setting him up for future All-Pro.
Yeah.
So I think it's the right pick at 13, honestly. I think it's the right player for the Rams. I'm not sure if it's the right pick at 13. But I like it more than the consensus, you could say, does.
Yeah, and then obviously the two biggest guys that fell, Jermod McCoy fell all the way to the first pick of day 3. I made the same mistake you did with the Raiders. And then Garrett Nussmeier fell to the 7th round. And I saw that Garrett Nussmeier might have the highest chance to start day 1 of any of the quarterbacks taken this year, which that's kind of crazy. And you think about it, it's true.
Yeah, because Mahomes...
Mendoza's not going to start. Simpson's not going to start. Aller, maybe, but I think they go Will Howard if Rodgers doesn't return.
Mendoza starts?
No, Cousins is. They've said that.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot to say.
Aller maybe, but Will Howard I think they go to before him if Rodgers doesn't return. Klubnik, no. Who else? And then Taylor Green, Cole Payton. So really, he has
Morton,
he probably has
Ethan
that.
Kaliak-Manis. So.
Yeah, and so he might have the highest chance. Obviously, probably Fields over him, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Fields would get the start, but I just don't know what happened.
There's got to be something, medicals or interview or. Look, he doesn't have the. I understand the Jets taking Klubnik over him because Nussmeier doesn't really have the traits or size that you need in the NFL. Yeah. But a year ago he was gonna be. He was one of those guys. Yeah, one of those guys that could have been a 1st-round pick.
Yeah, it's just I just don't know what happened behind the scenes.
And then Jermod McCoy in the 4th round. Look, if those knees are that bad, you understand it. But if you look at his 2024 production, if he can play, you're getting a top 5, top 10 talented player in the entire class.
He would have been a top 5 pick this year.
Yeah, if he stayed healthy.
That's the steal of the draft for the Raiders. You're a team that was terrible last year. You need a guy like that So I like the chance. I like they're
they're
rolling the dice. Yeah, it's a high upside pick. They have nothing to lose. So I love the pick for there with the Raiders. And my opinion, that was the best pick of the draft overall.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so now I want to talk about the Knicks. They're now tied 2-2 in Atlanta. They're coming back to the Garden for Game 5 on Tuesday night. They lost Game 3 on a heartbreaking C.J. McCollum game winner, and then they didn't get a shot up on the last possession. It was a terrible game all around for the Knicks, and they just couldn't come back. But last night, in Game 4, there was a certain intensity and aggressiveness that they play with that needs to continue. I love the offensive approach all night. It was play through Cat and play through Anunoby, and they did that, and they pretty much dominated the whole game. And then the defensive intensity was unbelievable. The Hawks had no easy looks all night, and if they continue that, Atlanta cannot win games when the Knicks are playing with that amount of care and intensity.
Yeah, I mean, one play I really want to highlight from last night was, or one moment or sequence, I should say. It was late in the game. The Knicks were going to win anyway, most likely. But it showed how they were playing last night and how they need to play the rest of the series and the rest of the season and in the playoffs. I believe, I don't remember who shot it. It might have been Deuce, but they got 3 straight offensive rebounds. It was late in the game. I know OG got 2, and then maybe, I don't know who else got the last one. They got 3 straight offensive rebounds, kicked it out to Brunson, he nailed the 3.
Yep.
That is the intensity you need to see in the playoffs.
Exactly.
And in games 2 and 3, they didn't do any of that. They looked a little lazy out there. They weren't really, they were just doing like whatever. And the game was pretty much over at that point, but you want to see that. That's a really good sign that they want to be here. They're showing grit and they have heart, and that's a sequence. Heart. No, yeah, sorry.
And he had an awesome game last night too.
Yeah, but I mean that's what you really like. If I'm Mike Brown, I'm showing that clip and being like, guys,
keep this going.
Do this for 40 minutes.
It's a 3-game series now with 2 of 3 in the Garden. The Knicks, if they lose this series, I mean, obviously the coach is fired, the core is blown up. It would be a disaster even more now. And then when you look at the landscape of the East, Toronto now tied with Cleveland at 2-2. The Cavs are tied 2-2. The Pistons are down 2-1 to the Magic. The Celtics and Sixers, it's 2-1 Celtics, but the Celtics haven't played well, and Embiid might come back.
Yeah, the Sixers have been in every game.
Like, the Knicks are maybe the best or the second best team in the East. There's nobody else I really fear. Get by Atlanta. Like, we're still waiting for the Brunson game. He hasn't shot well, but look, it's going to come. He's going to have one of those games where he takes over. And when he does, it's going to be great because we need it because, look, Mikal Bridges had a horrible game 3. He was better last night.
Yeah.
Jordan Clarkson has now been great. Jose Alvarado has been great. They just need to do what they did in Game 4 and do it again tomorrow on Tuesday night.
Yeah, definitely. Last night was an amazing game overall. And you talked about the intensity. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns.
He turned up.
It was the first and second quarter. He was playing angry.
Yeah, he was.
He just looked mad out there. He was just like, all right, screw everyone. Like, I'm going to go for this. And he was just bawling out. I mean, he played well last night. But he just looked angry and intense, and like that's the heart I want to see, and the grit in a playoff series. When last night was pretty much a do or die game. Yeah,
and his playmaking was unbelievable. He would have the ball at the top of the key and then rip a pass to OG for a dunk.
But they can't let up. They cannot.
No, they need to keep going and win Game 5,
Game 7 because just last night, do or die. Like if they would lose, they're done. But that. Like
for the most part,
Hopefully that's not why they had that crazy intensity, because their season was on the line, basically. They need to have that in Game 5, and then Game 6, and then if there's a Game 7, they need to have it. And the rest of the playoffs. They need to play with that intensity and grit, and they need to...
Just fire.
Just have a fire. And
you hope that not being able to finish Game 2 and 3 was a wake-up call to them, that, like, they're the much better team. Play like it.
Yeah.
And then, so the Knicks 2-2, Game 5 in the Garden. get a win, and you hope to close it out back in Atlanta. And then one more thing before we talk about the Yankees and Mets, before we close out this episode. Dante DiVincenzo tore his Achilles last night. Absolutely devastating. It was right after the Knicks game ended. I was in a great mood, and then I saw that happen, and my mood was just ruined. Dante is probably my second favorite non-Knick in the entire NBA behind Steph Curry. Look, it's devastating. Those injuries, like, they suck. And he might be out all of next year too, which it's just terrible.
You hate to see it. I mean, he's a guy that loves playing basketball. You see how he plays. He's intense. He's
a heart of their team. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I mean, a couple minutes later, thank God it wasn't anything serious or too serious. But Anthony Edwards went down with.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna be out a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty bad. I mean, thank God it wasn't a torn ACL though.
Thank God.
Hopefully they get.
I mean, he was grabbing his knee. I'm like, oh no, he just tore his ACL. Like after, I mean, once
fully bent back.
Once DiVincenzo went down, it was non-contact. You knew he popped his Achilles.
Yep.
Which sucks, but I mean, Anthony Edwards fell down in an awkward way, was grabbing his knee in that much pain. Like you were just like, no way, he just tore his ACL also, and it was terrible to watch. And then we got the report this morning. I think it was hyperextended, right?
It's a bone bruise and a hyperextension, but he's out multiple weeks.
He'll be out for close to a month.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Awful,
they're going to need more.
Thank God it wasn't anything more serious, and
yeah,
it's not like a long-term injury.
They're going to need more from Randall, and they're going to need what Dosunmu did last night to keep it going.
Yeah, how many? He's like 43.
43. Just unbelievable game. Yeah. So then, now we'll close it out. The Yankees and Mets. The Yankees actually had their 8-game winning streak snapped today in Houston. Luis Gil was not good. He actually got sent down right after the game. Yep. They're going to need a spot start or two before Rodon comes back. He's going to be before Cole, I think. So I think Elmer Rodriguez could get that. Everything's clicking for the Yankees right now. The offense has been hitting everyone besides Gil, and the starting rotation's been awesome. The only thing that's a concern right now might be Giancarlo Stanton might be going on the IL, but it seems like it's going to be nothing serious because they've waited a couple days. It might just be a brief IL stint. But if anything, he'll miss 10 or 15 days. But, yeah, everything's really clicking, even though Aaron Judge hasn't really gotten to Aaron Judge yet. But
he homered earlier.
Yeah, he did. He's still just the batting average hasn't been there yet. Yeah.
That was such an Aaron Judge homer.
All right.
Ben Rice. What was it? Sixth inning. They were down 7-0, right?
Yeah, it's his birthday.
Such a classic Judge homer.
It's his birthday.
Classic
birthday
stat padding. Yeah, he's 34.
Yeah, he is.
Next year.
That was an eye opener. And Ben Rice continues.
He's done after the lockout. This is last year in the prime.
Ben Rice continues to hit. Jose Caballero's been hitting, but his metrics are like terrible. I mean, it's all like good luck, but I mean, he's hitting no matter what. Anthony Volpe's going to be back in a couple days, so we'll see how that dynamic plays out. And then we'll close with the Mets. They snapped their losing streak, their 12-game losing streak, with a series win against the Twins, and they're currently losing in the second half of the doubleheader to the Rockies, which would be a sweep. Lindor is going to be out a very long time with a calf strain. Things aren't good in Metland still.
Yeah, I mean, Soto comes back, and like a day later, Lindor's out.
It was the same game.
Yeah.
Same game, same injury.
I don't even know what to say. Like,
yeah,
I have no words, honestly.
The one thing that I think people are watching now, Alex Cora got fired last night,
Mendoza's
which I think
gone.
Yeah, I think Cora, he's a great manager. I hate him because of how good of a manager he is.
I should hire him.
I don't know why the Red Sox fired him. Like the lineup is horrific.
Could you see it? Could you see the Mets firing Mendoza
and hiring Cora,
and then hiring Cora?
Yeah,
why not?
I wouldn't. Not. We're recording this Sunday at like 6:00. If they finish out this game against the Rockies and get swept, I wouldn't be surprised if Mendoza's gone tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that definitely opens the eyes of Steve Cohen, David Stearns, and the higher ups.
Because you also gotta.
You have to make a change. But.
Yeah, you also see the Phillies have been horrific too. They might fire Rob Thompson and get Cora. Like, Cora is a great manager. I mean, the Red Sox having a 21-year-old rookie be their best hitter in the lineup and then blaming him when it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. The Red Sox are terrible. But, I mean, Alex Cora as the next Mets manager makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But, I mean, the actual Mets right now, like, every single hitter is cold.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there were a couple stretches where Mark Vientos looked like the best hitter in baseball, and Francisco Alvarez has been awesome all season. The last week or so, he's really slowed down. Like, Luis Robert has been awful, even defensively. Like, he has not been good in the field. Soto just came back.
So he hasn't gotten hitting yet, but he'll be Juan Soto soon.
They're just everyone.
They got
Bichette.
Yeah.
Okay.
He had his Mets moment the other day. They gotta get Devin Williams out of the closing role. Luke Weaver or Brooks Raley should be the closer. Like, Devin Williams came in, he had 2 outs to get, he was up 3 runs. That's probably the easiest save you'd ever see, and he almost blew it.
Yep.
Like, I mean, he has no mental strength at all. I mean,
there's one bright spot on the Mets, and it's Nolan McLean. Yep.
Yeah.
He pitched all right today.
He keeps getting losses even though he gives up 1 run.
Yeah, I know.
1 or 2 runs.
He wasn't insane today, but he was good. I think he went 5 2/3 maybe, 7 strikeouts, 3 hits, 5 hits. 7 strikeouts, 5 hits, 3 runs.
Yeah.
But nothing crazy, but he's so good. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, he's the low and bright spot.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for episode 10 of Inside the Numbers. The draft is over, which that's kind of a bummer. Kind of the NFL is going to be slowed off until training camp for the most part.
Right. The next 2 months for the NFL, you're not going to hear a thing.
Yeah, it's rookie minicamp, camp, OTAs, not much.
I do expect some Giants news. I do think within the next week they'll sign both DJ Reader and Odell Beckham Jr. I think they'll.
I don't know about Odell. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. You're looking at the roster. What he's not coming to be wide receiver 6.
I think they'll have him in training camp. I don't know if he makes the roster, but
like I don't know. You got Neighbors, Mooney, Austin, Fields, Slayton,
Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah, like I mean, okay, Hyatt or Odell doesn't provide anything special. So
no, he doesn't.
As a smart roster move, it wouldn't be smart at all.
No, it's just for nostalgia. But,
yeah, exactly.
But I do expect them to sign DJ Reader. I think that's gonna happen.
Yeah. And then the one last thing I'll say, Neighbors had some interesting comments during round 1.
He did not seem to like
He was pretty pissed off at everything. He wanted Jeremiah Love, and then he questioned Darvo Reese, and then he didn't love the Maui Noah pick, and then obviously Caleb Downs.
Yeah. Whatever. I mean, John Harbaugh spoke about it. He had a question about it, and he's like, I talked to Malik. I like that he's expressing his feelings.
Yeah, I mean, that's Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, but I mean that's any diva receiver in the NFL. I don't really mind it. I don't look into these off-field issues with players.
No.
All right, well, if they get arrested, it's different.
Yeah, it's different. You he has an attitude, okay, but he's not getting arrested for DUIs.
I don't care if my superstar receiver has questions about the number 5 pick, which every single fan does. Where is he going to play?
I just love with Garrett Wilson how he's. You can see. Some guys say they want to fix the Jets, and some guys actually show it. Like right after the first round, he tweeted at all of the guys that "Let's go! I'll see you guys here tomorrow."
Yeah, he's
the guy you want to try and turn this franchise around in every single aspect.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
But even after Neighbors' comments, he posted on Instagram. He reposted all the draft picks and tagged all them. Let's get to work. But
for sure.
I'm not concerned at all. It's nothing.
No reason to be. It's just it's funny.
Yeah, but I liked what Micah Parsons was saying to him. It was funny. He was like, "Don't go there, Malik. Careful."
Yeah, be careful what you say.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll do it for episode 10. Hunter Aschenbrenner and Jake Auerbach. Stay tuned for next week's episode. We have a very special guest looming, so that's going to be very fun, and you'll see that on episode 11.